Good morning, everyone. Wow, everybody's awake today. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Jessica Alexander. I am the Mayor Pro Tem, and I have the honor and privilege to be able to open up this morning's first regional senior scam symposium here in Temecula. If we can just first give a good round of applause to the individuals who put this together, we'll go through there. Just let them know. Thank you. This is wonderful. So again, my name is Jessica Alexander. I am the Mayor Pro Tem here in the city of Temecula. And we, along with the Mary Phillips Senior Center, just wants to let you know it's an honor and a privilege to be able to partner with Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez to bring you critical information to empower, to educate all of you on how to recognize, report, and prevent scams and fraud targeting seniors and older adults. And I'm sure that there are some of us in this room that have probably dealt with some of this, and so that's why we're here today. Scams can affect anyone, but especially those who are vulnerable. So it is crucial we stay informed and work together with our state and county leaders to draw awareness on this very important topic. Before we begin, I would like to recognize the 71st Assembly District Riverside Veteran of the Year, Ron Cradaville. There we go. Can you stand up, please, sir? So he was selected as our Veteran of the Year. I have had the opportunity and privilege to be able to work with him, even though I cannot pronounce your last name yet. We will get there. But he has done great effort and work, so I just want to say thank you for all you've done for our city and our county area. You're a blessing. Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, so there are a couple other people here as well who are going to be our speakers who I would like to be able to just take a moment and thank as our keynote speakers, and I apologize if I mess up on your name. Seth Dumichel, did I say that right? Yes, I did it. Deputy District Attorney from County of Riverside. Thank you so much for being here, sir. All right, Crystalline Horkel. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The leader investigator in Riverside County Sheriffs. Thank you for being here and all you do. David Stab, where are you at, sir? Hello. Supervisory Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation for the FBI. Thank you. Andrew Illingwood. Where are you? Is he here? No. Okay. Hopefully he'll be here a little bit later. He is the Deputy Chief Advisor Clerk Recorder. And Melissa Garcia. Hello, ma'am. Assistant Assessor Clerk for the Recorder. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. We're very excited for the information of what you're going to be bringing forward. Thank you for your commitment to providing our senior community with the tools and knowledge they need to stay informed and safe. Thank you so much. At this time, if you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, I have asked Mr. Ron to please stand up and do the pledge for us.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. All right. So to begin this program, I would first off like to welcome and thank Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez. Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez was elected in 2022. She currently serves as the floor leader of the Assembly Republican Caucus. In the Assembly, she serves as vice chair of the Appropriations Committee and sits on several key committees, giving her a strong voice in shaping California's budget and public policy. And I can just say, as an elected official, she does an outstanding job in supporting our city and our community. I'm very grateful. She proudly represents the cities of Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita, Temecula, Murrieta, and Wildomar, along with French Valley, Temecula wine country, and parts of Orange County. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause and a great thanks to Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez for putting this together.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kate Sanchez, and I am your elected representative in the Assembly for the 71st District. My complete honor. Today, first of all, I want to thank you for coming to our Senior Scam Symposium, our very first, hosted by my office with the partnership of the City of Temecula. Today's program is designed to be a valuable resource to help you better understand scam prevention, recognize the warning signs, and to stay protected. We are fortunate to have several outstanding partners here with us, and I encourage you to visit their resource tables. Joining us today are representatives from the FBI, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, and the District Attorney's Office, as well as the County Clerk Recorder's Office. Each of them play a critical role in responding to and preventing fraud, especially scams targeting our seniors. Before we begin, I have a very special recognition I'd like to share with you all today. And I know City Council member had alluded to this and recognized Ron, but each year I have the honor of recognizing 2 distinguished veterans, one in Orange County and one in Riverside County. This year I'd like to call up and recognize our 71st Assembly Riverside Veteran of the Year, Ron Cradaville. Did I say it correctly? Okay, all right. Real quickly, Ron, I'll bring it down to you. I'm going to give a little. That'd be great, yes. Ron served our nation in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War. Retiring as a lieutenant commander, today he continues to serve our community through organizations such as MilVet, the Vietnam Veterans of America, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars. He is also helping to establish a new American Legion post in Temecula and is actively looking for new members to join. When our office reached out for nominations, the response for Ron was immediate and overwhelming. Proof of the remarkable impact he has made in our community. Please join me in congratulating Ron.
Thank you very much. So much. I'm truly honored and truly humbled by this whole thing. Thank you again.
Wonderful. To begin our program, I would like to welcome our first speaker, Deputy District Director Seth Dumichel. Deputy Director Dumichel has served with the Riverside County District Attorney's Office since 2015 with the Riverside County and is assigned to the Major Elder Abuse Unit, where he prosecutes elder and dependent adult abuse and major fraud cases. He is a core member of the Riverside County Elder Abuse Forensic Center and regularly teaches law enforcement and seniors throughout the county about scams, fraud, and abuse prevention. Please welcome and joining me to introduce Deputy Director Dumichel to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I just wanted to take the time that's allotted to me today to try to help educate everyone about the signs that we see of elder abuse, both financial and physical, some of the things to kind of watch out for, the common scams that we're seeing happening, because it is the more that you know, the better equipped you're going to be able to be to not be victims yourselves. So I'm going to be going over our scams, our signs of financial abuse, and the different ways you can kind of protect yourself. So everyone kind of thinks about elder abuse as this unknown scammer, like the people that you don't know that find some way to take advantage of you. And that is certainly a leading cause of of abuse, particularly financial abuse. Across California, we are seeing a rise. It is a silver tsunami as all of our baby boomers are now in our senior community. And that is particularly true in Riverside County. If you look on this map, in San Bernardino and Riverside counties, we are having more than a 200% increase in our elderly community starting from about 15 years ago, and it's going to extend and continue over the next 20 or 30 years. So the people that are targeting and trying to commit fraud see you guys as an opportunity. And so that's more and more they're targeting you. In the last few years, the amount of cybercrime that is happening in the world is skyrocketing. In trillions of dollars, if you look, starting from 2018, it was only 0.86 trillion. And now that we are in 2025, we're already at about $10 trillion. It is just going up and up. This is true. It's supported by the statistics, and we have someone from the FBI here today, so I'm going to let him talk more about their stats. But even the FBI has released regular publications talking about the rise of people targeting our elderly community. Just from 2023 to 2024, there was a 43% increase in losses in 1 year. And that is happening year after year as we go through everything. In California, we are #1 in the nation for the amount of elderly financial fraud cases that are being reported and are occurring. We are the #1 state for the amount of loss. So by living here, you're affected by that statistic. When scammers see that you're here, they know that it's good pickings. And this is a graph talking about just for people that are over 60 reporting fraud to the FBI. It is skyrocketing if you look from 2018 to where we are now. So they are targeting you, and they are getting more active. There's all kinds of different ploys that they do. Business emails, botnets, data breaches, lottery scams. There is no end to what they're willing to try to do to take advantage of you. The ones that we're seeing a lot in Riverside County, we're seeing a lot of investment and romance scams. That's where you'll get some text message, or maybe someone will reach out to you on social media and talk about, hey, I have this really good investment. Why don't you invest? We're gonna take that, your little nest egg for retirement, and we're gonna help make that get bigger for you. Or they might say, hey, there was a case just prosecuted in India last week that was someone that met their Uber driver. The woman's husband had died after 46 years of marriage. The Uber driver befriended her, started dating her, moved in with her, and then when she eventually started having dementia issues, he stole more than $1 million over 6 months from her account. So be cautious. And I'm going to say this a few times, but at the point that all of you are in your lives as seniors, you don't need new friends. # no new friends. If someone is contacting you at this point in your life, trying to insert themselves in your life, you should be suspicious because more and more often they are doing it for fraud. And it may be unfortunate. Maybe there are people that are just really good Samaritans and that their intentions are pure, but you should be cautious of anyone new that you meet. You really should. There's issues with pig butchering and cryptocurrency that the FBI agent is going to talk about. We're seeing SIM swapping, where the calls will come into your phone as someone that you know, and it turns out that it's not. And then obviously there's ransomware attacks, the typical thing that everyone thinks about, that you get an email or something where it's like, hey, click here, and suddenly they're in your accounts. So just be cautious. The leading impersonated companies for ransomware is people impersonating that they're from the Geek Squad, from Microsoft, from PayPal and Amazon. We're seeing an increase lately, too, of people claiming that they're from Apple, where you'll get a text message or something like that, or an email claiming that these, something happened from these accounts. Just click here and, we'll help you. Don't click stuff. If you don't know for sure where that email or where that text message is coming from, do not click on it. I get on a regular basis, my father-in-law will call me up and say, hey, I just got an email from Apple. It says that there was some attack on my account. I'm like, go to the Apple store. Don't click on anything. If you're worried about it, go to that business. Again, there are romance scams. An unfortunate fact of life is that as we all get older, as our friends and families members pass away, we get lonely. And so our scammers know that people want connection. People don't want to be alone, and they will prey on that. If you get text messages or you get just random people reaching out to you, be suspicious. Talk to your kids, your friends, whatever it is, about what's happening, because most of the time these scammers want for you to respond and not talk to anyone else about it. And it's very common because someone might be embarrassed. They might say, the case that we prosecuted last week, that woman was embarrassed that she was lonely. She said, look, I'd been with my husband for 46 years. I didn't want to be alone. And so when that person first started taking money from her account, she didn't say anything because she was embarrassed. And I see that from all walks of life. I see that from, I have cases where the victim was an attorney, is still a practicing attorney in their 70s, but they got defrauded. It happens to doctors, all walks of life. So these are little snippets of emails that actually came into my wife that are fraudulent, like these attempts at fraud. Hey, on January 22nd, all these receipts were accepted. Please contact us. Or PayPal saying, hey, look, we have this invoice that charged to your account. Click here and confirm or deny that this was you. She gets these text messages. Hey, we've received your quick pay from Zelle payment. Your package has been delivered or is going to be delivered. Track here. I'm sure you guys have seen them. It is happening. They're sending these out to thousands, if not tens of thousands of people on a daily basis, and they only need one or two people to click on it, because whoever does, they are going to target. You get these text messages. These are ones that I got. How was your day? Hi. The idea is they want you to respond, because when you say, hey, I'm sorry, this is the wrong number, then they say, oh, I'm so sorry. What's your name? My name's John. And they try to get you talking. They try to engage you. The same as a salesman, when you're walking by in the mall or on the street, they'll be like, oh, no, come here, come talk to us. Because the more they can get you to engage with them, the more likely they are to be able to take advantage of you. Just don't respond. Now, my wife takes a different route. She likes to mess with them now. So this is one where someone contacted her, said, hey, are you Martin? She's like, yep. Send me a picture, great. And then she was like, oh, no, I'm Martin Lawrence. Don't go this route. I complain at my wife on a regular basis. The idea is not to engage, but that's still what she does. So we have caller ID spoofing, and this is happening more and more often, where your phone will ring and it will show a number that you know. This happened to me last year. I got a call from my bank saying, hey, we have a few transactions. We just want to make sure that they're legit. And I said, okay. And they listed the last 5 transactions that were legit, that happened. Where it was, yes, that happened. Yes, I purchased it on this day. Yes, that's the amount. Over and over again, they said, okay, well, just to make sure that everything's good with your account, we just need your social security number. And I was like, no. They're like, look, sir, this is for your protection. This is your bank. We're your credit union. And I said, you know what? I'm going to call my branch. I'm going to go down to my branch, and if there are problems, I'll talk to them about it. And they tried to keep me on the phone. I hung up. I went to my branch, and my branch was like, oh, yeah, no, that's not us. We would never ask you for that. But they have the technology now where they can have those numbers pop up as people you know. They have the technology now where they'll look at your social media. They'll pull videos of your grandchildren, of your children, run that through an AI program, and then they will call you with your child's voice. They will call you with your grandchild's voice. I have a case right now where this very nice gentleman was called by his grandson saying that he had gotten into a car accident in Mexico, he was being detained, and he just needed money or they were going to put him in prison. And and they were like, hey, you can't contact anyone, don't tell anyone, because we don't want this to be an international incident. We want to keep this quiet. And over 3 months, they took $220,000 from that man. Until finally he was like, you know what, I should probably talk to my granddaughter about what my grandson is doing. And he called his daughter, and she was like, no, Tommy's here with us. Like, what are you talking about? He's not in Mexico. At the end of the day, take a moment and make another phone call, because whatever it is can wait. We have tech support scams. Again, they get a call saying, hey, you have a virus on your computer. Just click here. We're going to handle it for you. Let us take control of the computer. You have IRS scams trying to pretend that they're members of the IRS and that there's some issue with your taxes. They are creative. These grandparent scams, just like that victim I just told you about with their grandson being in an accident in Mexico. At the end of the day, hang up and call someone else, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's your child. Get that peace of mind on a call that you initiate, not on a call that you answer, not on a text that you respond to. Also, there's this big increase in kind of gift card scams where they're saying, hey, there are these issues, blah, blah, blah. I want to help pay this for you. You know what we need you to do is we need you to go pay this bill, but you know what, you're going to need to get Amazon gift cards. Go get $1,000 in Amazon gift cards and send it to us. It is surprising how many people do it. I will tell you now, no legitimate business, no legitimate government agency wants you to pay in a gift card. If someone ever tells you, no, you need to do this through a gift card, you need to do this through Bitcoin, through anything but regular cash or check or card, it is a scam. And again, there's this whole there's lottery scams, jury duty scams, hospice fraud, contractors, check washing, where they'll intercept a check that you're sending to your grandson or your granddaughter or some loved one as a Christmas present, and they'll wash it and put in their information. So it's your check, your signature, but all the other information is different. So at the end of the day, don't click on emails, don't respond. If you don't know the call, don't answer it. If they leave you a voicemail that you think is concerning about one of your accounts, go to that business. Do never, never, never call the number that they give you. If they say that they're from your credit card, great. Pull out your credit card, turn to the back of it, and call the number on the back of your credit card. Never use the number that they want you to use. Never give out your account information. And don't click on anything, whether it's on your phone or on an email, just don't click on it. Also, try to continue to get and regularly review your bank records. Every month you're getting a bank statement. Even if you're getting older and you're to the point where, hey, my daughter handles my finances, or my brother, my friend, still review everything. Because not only are there people that don't know you that are trying to take advantage of you, unfortunately, people that do know you are doing it as well. Family, friends, financial advisors, lawyers, oh my. even the people that you love sometimes can't resist that temptation. Last year, there was more than $20 billion in fraud from people that know you, from people that knew their victims and befriended them for that purpose, or took advantage of them, or just couldn't. You have a grandson, or it's almost always grandsons for some reason that fail to launch. Women don't seem to have this problem. They launch just fine, but men, we have a little more of an issue with it. But it's someone where hey, as you get older and they see that money available, they want it. They might think, oh, I'm going to get this anyway as part of my inheritance. And they don't get that until you pass. But be cautious, because even your loved ones will do theft. They will embezzle. They will forge. They will steal your identity. I had a case a few years ago where the person had, after stealing several $100,000 from their mother, after their mother passed, they continued to run up their credit card bills. They called the credit card company with their mother's information saying, no, I am my mother. I didn't die. Please keep my card active. Just be cautious. Now, you may recognize some of these people. As you get older, there are always questions about your mental capacity issues. The fact of the matter is that our brains just don't work as well as we get older. We get more forgetful, let alone if we have some cognitive function issues, if we start having dementia or Alzheimer's. And at the end of the day, as long as your brain is working right, as long as you have capacity, that it's a legal issue, you can make horrible decisions if you want to. You can be some older gentleman that befriends a gold digger, and it's very exciting. And if that's what you choose to do, that's great. Well, not great, but but it's certainly your right to do it. But the problem is that over time, if you start having dementia, you start having these other issues, those lines can blur. If you decide to put someone new on your bank accounts at your age, have there be a power of an attorney. And the reason for that is a power of attorney puts a fiduciary duty. It puts a legal obligation on those people to only act in your best interests. That case that I talked about that we tried last week, where it was the Uber driver that started dating and then stole that $1 million over 6 months, their defense was, well, they added me to the account, so if I'm on the account, then it's our money. I thought I could use that $1 million. I know, it seems ridiculous, but remember, jurors, every jury are 12 people that weren't smart enough to get out of jury duty. I mean, that's who's deciding these cases. And so sometimes, on that one, there was a banker that convinced a few other people on that jury, being like, well, I mean, we don't really know what that person actually thought. You never know. The signs of financial abuse are, you typically will have some unemployed adult that resides in the home. You start seeing new names on the signature cards. You start seeing a change in kind of spending habits, these unauthorized withdrawals or transfers. You'll see these purchases, these large purchases where they said, oh, you know what, I'd asked if I could borrow some money because, I needed to get a new roof, or I had these other issues. And they just don't line up. That's why you want that power of attorney, because then it doesn't matter what you gave permission to do. That person has their own legal obligation to only act in your best interests. So it doesn't matter if you say, well, no, I wanted to gift them $20,000. No, they're now managing your finances. They don't just get to take $20,000, even if you want to give it to them, because that isn't in your best interest. If you want to give that person money, do it as part of your will when you die. Do not do it while you are still living. But we'll see these disappearances of funds or possessions. We'll start seeing bills that aren't being paid. Maybe it's your taxes that aren't being paid. Maybe your mortgage starts being late. Maybe it's your utilities or your phone. But suddenly these accounts aren't current. So just kind of be watchful of it. And time again, the victims on my cases, they say, look, I don't look at my accounts anymore. Once my friend took it over, I trusted them. And that's what we want to be able to do. But at the end of the day, you want to protect yourself. So no matter who is handling your finances, review it on a regular basis, every month. And if you start seeing things that you don't recognize, ask them about it. Ask someone else to come in. Hey, maybe my oldest son is doing my finances. Maybe have his younger sister look things over. Keep them honest. Trust but verify. And again, apparently went the wrong way. Get these power of attorneys to the people that, if you are trusting them to handle your finances, get a power of an attorney. It doesn't give them a license to steal, to isolate you, to neglect you. It creates a legal responsibility. And time again, it's this power of attorney and that legal responsibility that lets me prosecute people for the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they will steal. It doesn't get recorded anywhere, so you need to have a copy of it. That person needs to have a copy of it. And at the end of the day, as long as it's a normal power of attorney, not a durable, that power of attorney ends with you. If you pass, the power of attorney goes away. So, some tips for you. Have a designated power of attorney or estate planning documents created. Plan it all in advance. I know no one wants to talk about, their life ending and what's going to happen afterwards, but believe me, you don't want that left to your family to fight over it at the end of it. Continue monitoring your banking activity. Look for that regular account status of what's happening with it. At the end of the day, don't take your checkbook with you. If you know you're going to pay for you're going to go to the store and pay with something by a check, bring one check. Don't bring your whole checkbook. Nothing good can happen of you writing unexpected checks. And again, just keep looking, keep being cognizant of what's happening in your life. Don't leave your mail in the mailbox. If you're going to go visit, you just had a grandchild born and you want to go visit and help for, a month or two, do so, but get a mail stop. Put a hold on your mail so that mail isn't sitting there tempting people to take it, because mail theft is one of the leading causes of fraud now, where they know they can just drive down a street, just open mailbox after mailbox, take the stuff. When we bust people for identity theft, for frauds, they will typically have the mail of hundreds of people. Have a locked mailbox. Put holds if you're going to be gone. Pay attention to the mail that you get. Anytime there's a change in your property, and I'm sure that the assessor's office is going to talk about it, anytime there's a change, they're going to send you a notice. Read it. Because if you get a notice saying, hey, we heard that your property is now being transferred to someone else and you aren't aware of it, you want to get on that as early as possible. And again, even when you decide to have a caregiver, even when you reach that point in your life where you say, look, I can no longer do this on my own, I need help. Those caregivers sometimes will also try to abuse you. Again, the temptation affects everyone. It doesn't matter how great of a person is, how long you've known them. Temptation is there. Money is there. And so if you start, whether it's a caregiver or a family member, make sure that you are watching what's happening in your accounts. Be suspicious. Every time you go to the doctor's office, have them talk about all your medication. Okay, this is the whole list of everything you're taking. Yes, this is what you should be taking. Don't ever give your caretaker access to your finances. If you have a caretaker and you need help with your finances, find a different person to do your finances, because you don't want to be alone. You don't want to have it to where one person is looking over every aspect of your life, because that makes it really easy to abuse you. If you do think you're a victim of fraud, report it. Report it to Adult Protective Services. Riverside has a very robust Adult Protective Services program. They will come and they will check on you. They will talk to you. Report it to them. If you're in a facility, if you live in a senior living facility, there are ombudsmen. There's a whole office that tries to kind of monitor those facilities and make sure that they're doing everything right. Report it to your local law enforcement agency. Report it to the FBI, IC3. This is what their website looks like. It's very simple to try to navigate it so that you can report these crimes. But at the end of the day, there's one thing I want you to take away from this, which is no new friends. I can't stress it enough. On the cases that I see where it is people that they know that took advantage of them, it is more often than not some new person. Someone that they met at at bingo or at a charity night or at a Botox party. I have a full case on that. They will go where they think you are. No new friends. You don't need them. And we'll deal with any questions at the end, but thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully you take something away from this.
Our next speaker, for over 26 years, Melissa Garcia, has been a noteworthy leader in the Riverside County Clerk Recorders Division. During her time with the organization, she has held many positions and trained in almost all units. As the current Assistant Assessor Clerk Recorder, she oversees more than 140 team members and a vast array of mandated functions for all units. We would also like to welcome other members of the Assessor's Clerk Recorder's Office from the County of Riverside, Chris Gray, Steve Horn, and Stephen Nguyen. If you could give a round of applause for them all.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us at your event. We love to come out and speak to all of our constituents in the county to advise them on kind of the role of our office and, in this particular case, the real estate fraud prevention and awareness programs that we have and how our office is involved in these types of matters. So a little bit about our office, for those of you that don't know. Assessor, clerk, and recorder. Our assessor values and assesses property for purposes of taxes. Our clerk handles things such as fictitious business names, vital records, notary registrations and bonds. And then our recorder division is responsible for the recording and preservation of all official records that deal with real property within Riverside County. So real estate fraud occurs when someone illegally records, transfers, claims ownership, or mortgages a property using forged or falsified documents. So I'm going to kind of go through my notes. I don't have to look at the screen. Common types of this is title fraud. So that would be forged deeds where individuals will use forged signatures, or they can create documents, modify them after you've signed and had them acknowledged by a notary. They can involve improper notarizations, right? A fraudulent notary could be involved in these particular types of transactions. Mortgage fraud, this would be where individuals take out loans against properties that maybe they don't own or that their co-owner was unaware of. And then identity theft. We have individuals who will just perpetrate that they are a different individual or that they are the owner of a property. So all of those are used in these different mechanisms that individuals or scammers will use to try to defraud somebody of their property or take their equity from their property so that they can take out loans and get the cash or the money for it. So for scammers, they target vulnerable people, right? That is elderly, that's widows, That is young people who are unaware of how real estate property documents might work. For seniors, they look for people who live alone, right? People who don't necessarily have like that family network, that friend network that might be able to look out for them or advise them when something just doesn't pass the smell test. A lot of our seniors, they own their homes outright. They've had their mortgages for years, right? And their homes are paid off, which means that is a sitting pot of equity for a scammer to pry on. Or they have low mortgages, right? They might have refinanced because they wanted a new car, that, Ferrari that they wanted at 75 that they never got. So they take out a little bit of money, right? But it's a couple $100. Their home is worth $500,000. Still a huge pot of money sitting there for someone to try to defraud them out of. Owners in default on their mortgages. So from time to time, something happens. You might have an emergency take place in your home and you have to take out a loan. Property taxes rise, income doesn't change, you start falling behind. There are individuals who look for those types of situations so that they can come in and save the day. Owners of vacant land. So a lot of individuals who have passed down through their family pieces of vacant land that were never developed, property was never built on it, mobile homes, maybe there was an intention to put something there, but it just passes down through the family, or they bought it for an investment. We find that a lot of times people don't check on those. They know they have them. They're in our portfolio, right? They're just the just-in-case piece of land, or that I want to leave to my family. We have individuals who will drive around the counties and they will look for those vacant pieces of land and they'll monitor them. They'll look to see, is anyone coming and maintaining it? Are they cutting down the weeds? Or are they doing any type of maintenance to that property? Or does it look like maybe someone just forgot about it? And they will pry on those pieces of land and those individuals as well. Unexpected or warning signs that you can look out for would be warning signs. Unexpected letters about your mortgage or your deed. So you may receive letters from companies who are trying to solicit business that will perpetrate that they are a government agency or our office, asking you to sign a title lock on your property. I will tell you, no matter what anyone tells you, there is no way to lock the title on your property. Everything that can be done through a document cannot be stopped by any one particular company if you pay them a fee, no matter how small or large. You could receive mail telling you to pay a fee to protect your home, and that's what I'm talking about. We have some companies that are out there that will say, if you send us $100 a month, we will make sure to lock the title on your property so that no one can ever transfer it without you knowing. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. Phone calls claiming that the county is taking your property. We don't just go around taking people's property, right? If you receive a phone call from someone claiming that they're from a county agency and that they're going to take your property, just like the other gentleman before me talked about, let them know that you appreciate the information, hang up, and call your local agency directly and talk to them to see if there's any issues going on with your property. One of the things I think is really important, not everything is considered fraud, but there's a lot of deception that takes place when it comes to your property and some of these companies that are going to attempt to solicit business from you. For any information from our office, you can achieve that at no fee in terms of looking and assessing where your property's at, but you'll have companies who will say, if you pay us a fee, we can get you a copy. They don't tell you that without that fee, you can go and just purchase the copy yourself. So there's laws that have been put in place to try to prevent that solicitation. They have specific requirements that they have to meet, where they have to put in bold-faced lettering that it is a solicitation, that this isn't a government agency. So I encourage you all to kind of look out for those types of identifiers on any types of documents or mailers that you might receive. When we talk about, and let me see if, when we talk about the owners of the vacant land, I'll give you some examples. We had, for a period of time, especially out in the desert, a lot of undeveloped property. We had some people who were monitoring those various properties. And then they would go and they would put a for sale sign that they purchased from the dollar store with a phone number, says contact me directly, and then they would advertise in the penny saver saying cash only property, low cost, contact seller directly. And what they would do is someone would call them and say, oh, I'm interested in this property. They said, great, for $20,000 cash, we'll go ahead and sell you this property. You just bring this cash to meet me at the property. We'll sign you over the deed. And of course, they create a fake deed saying that they are the owner. They'll add your names to it, have a fake notary. You give them the $20,000, you take your deed, you think you're the owner of a new property, and then lo and behold, you go to try to record that at our office. It gets to our assessor, and our assessor says, yeah, we can't transfer this property. They were not the original owner. Or an individual will come forward and say, that's not me. I didn't sign that property. You paid in cash, that money is gone. We will refer those cases over to our district attorney. We have a program where we work very closely with them. But it's that simple. People will do whatever it takes. If someone tells you they're going to sell you a piece of land for $5,000 and it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. For owners in default on their mortgages, right? Something happens every day. You know, people run into issues. You might fall a little behind. We have companies who will come out and say, hey, you pay us $3,000 and we can make this go away. But what they don't tell you is they have you sign documents that then put them as co-owners on the property, that prevents you from selling the property. It allows them to take out equity loans on your property. And so you have to be very careful when those types of people are approaching you. Typically, you're going to want to go back to your bank and just tell them, hey, we've run into some financial issues. What can you do to help me? Who can you refer me to? It's always better to go directly to an agency or a financial institution and ask for referrals than to take just a call or a letter that was sent to you and go in that direction. Because, again, while they're not necessarily new friends, most of them cannot be trusted. When we talk about our senior citizens and the elderly, I'd like to tell you that this is strangers, that we see most of this occur within our office, but unfortunately for us, it's not your new friends, and it definitely isn't strangers. It's typically going to be somebody within your family, your loved ones, your maybe very close friends, right? Those individuals are going to tell you, hey, for your own protection, you should add us to the title of your document. So that way, if anything happens to you, it doesn't go into probate, or this is necessary so that I can, hire people to maintain the property. We've heard it all. In my 20 plus years in the recorder's office, I cannot tell you how many times we've had individuals come in and they are just devastated that somebody that they loved or somebody that they knew put them in a situation where either they lost their property or they no longer have control of their property because they have given them incorrect information with bad intentions typically. An example I can give you would be an individual who came into our office and they were extremely upset because they were no longer receiving their tax bill. And when we looked it up, we said, well, the tax bill is actually going to the new owner. And she said, but I am the owner. There is no new owner. And after we did a little research, what we found was her daughter had said, Mom, really, you're getting older. We want to make sure that we can take care of your property and we can handle these transactions for you. So we need you to go ahead and sign this deed, and it's going to add us to the title. And so we pulled up the deed, and that's exactly what it said. It was from mother to daughter. But what we figured out was that when the daughter had asked the mom to sign the deed, none of the fields were completed. The document was blank. And so after she had her mom sign the document and the individual notarized it, they filled in the document so that it was literally transferring from the mother to the daughter. The mother was no longer the owner of the property and no longer had control. We have instances where individuals use disappearing ink on a document, right? They prepare a document, and when you look at it, it says it's going from me to me and another individual. But there are certain types of ink that when you apply heat to them, it just disappears. And so what you thought you were signing is actually something very different. Cases of, they talked a little bit about power of attorneys. If you are working with a family member and you are signing over a power of attorney for medical purposes, complete a medical power of attorney, right? A lot of times what we see is individuals will come in, they will try to understand why is it that you were able to transfer my property from me to this person, and we'll look at the document, it says, well, you know, they have a power of attorney, and they'll say, well, it was just for medical purposes. But that's not the power of attorney that they filled out. When you look at all the fine print on the power of attorney that they filled out, it is for real estate transactions. It is for financial and banking transactions. And while it's supposed to be for the best interest of the individual, the transaction has already occurred. The property is already gone. So we encourage individuals to say, if you're doing a power of attorney for a specific reason, file a specific power of attorney. Don't give them open-ended abilities to perform transactions on your behalf. If you revoke a power of attorney, so I can tell you from a personal situation, we have an instance with my grandmother, 91 years old. She had initiated a power of attorney with one of her children who turned out to be not the best, and was not doing the most savory of things in her best interest, and so we revoked that power of attorney. But because we didn't record that power of attorney immediately, or the revocation of that power of attorney immediately, nobody knew. She was just walking around with a piece of paper saying that she was the current power of attorney. So both of those documents, the power of attorney or a revocation, if you were ever taking that right away from somebody, should be recorded in our office. And that gives the public notice to say, one, this individual can act on my behalf, and if you ever happen to lose the original, we would always have a copy on file in our office. But it also, when you decide to take those rights away from somebody, you would bring that into our office as well to put the public on notice that this person no longer has the authority to act on my behalf. So there's different things, different situations for each of those scenarios. When you have individuals who approach you to say, you're getting a little bit older, if something were to happen to you, we don't want your property to go into probate, that's what wills and trusts are for. In California, I encourage everybody, create a trust. If you have real property, if you have assets, put all of that into your trust with explicit instructions on who you want the property to go to, who the money's to be divided amongst, and who's to handle all of that on your behalf. And then you don't have to worry about putting a specific person on your property deed, right? Everything will be defined in your trust and everything will be taken care of, you know, at the time it should be. I would also advise you to be careful on who you add to your title, right? You have to remember that when you have a piece of real property, if you are the sole owner and you decide that you want to add a daughter, a son, a nephew as a joint tenant, and the time comes where you say, hey, you know what? I want to sell this property. I want to go into this assisted living home. I want to move to the Bahamas, whatever it might be. But I want to go ahead and sell that. I want to get my money. We have cases where individuals will hold you hostage because both of you are now on title. Both of you have to sign off on that property in order to sell it. So again, just be very careful. If individuals are coming to you and asking you to sign documents, make sure you understand them. I would encourage all of you, while it might cost a little more money, go to a title company. Let them tell you that, yes, this looks right. Yes, this is the current record owner of this property. This notary is legitimate. Just seek that advice. Don't necessarily take what anyone tells you as truth. You can always come into our office if you have questions on your deed, if you have questions about how a document was prepared, whether or not a notary is in good standing. We are able to help you with all of those things, and we want to help you because unfortunately, once the document is recorded, there's really not a whole lot that we can do. At that point, your only course of action is really going through the court system and trying to achieve like a quiet title order where they would revert title back. But it's very costly, a lot of time, a lot of money. And so really we just want to encourage everybody to just read through those transactions. Don't let anyone force you to sign something that is pertaining to your property without fully understanding what the consequences of that document are. So if we talk a little bit about what our role is based, for the recorder's office and the assessor's office, it's a little tricky. So there are specific guidelines and legislation that define what the recorder's role is in the process of real property documents. So one is that we have to make sure a particular document is legally entitled to be recorded. And then we have to make sure it meets all of the recording requirements. So I say that because there's a difference between recording requirements and legal requirements. So we will identify all of those things and we will record the document. The document then will go to our assessor's division, who will then make sure that there's a proper chain of title taking place. And if there's not, then they will send out letters and they will do some inquiries. However, it can still pose a problem. Even if they catch that on the back end in the assessor's office, it's still recorded, and it's going to cause problems with title departments, financial institutions, and things of that nature. So what we do now is, in 2010, some legislation was passed that allowed county recorders to send out notifications to property owners anytime a deed of trust, quitclaim deed was recorded in our office, to notify you, hey, this transaction took place. Look at the copy of the document that's attached here. If you don't know anything about it or it doesn't look like it is valid, contact our office and contact the district attorney's office. They have a specific unit that is dedicated to real estate fraud, who will then go in and investigate these types of transactions. We also have the notice for the foreclosures for the same reason. If you see that you're receiving a notice because somebody has filed a notice of default against your property and you don't know anything about it, it's going to let you know, it's going to give you a copy of the document, and it's going to tell you who to contact. Please read those letters. Even if you receive the letter and it says your property address, but it's not your name, and it's coming from a government agency, open it up. Look at it. There's a reason your property address is on there with somebody else's name in most cases, and that could be because there is a person who is trying to take your property, right? So I know I have to wrap up. A couple do's, a couple don'ts. Never sign a blank document or an application. Never give out your social security number. Our agency, for the recording purposes, is never going to ask for your social security number, and that's specific to the recording of the document. Never allow a stranger to copy your ID, and never ignore letters about your property. Some do's that I have on here is regularly search our online index for any new recordings you're unaware of. You can do this free from the comfort of your own home. You go onto our website, rivcoacr.org. You look for the online recorders index, type in your name. It'll give you a list of titles that have been recorded. If you see something from 2025 that says it was a deed that you don't know anything about, look into it. Do a little research. If it's from 1999 when you originally purchased the house, you probably have nothing to worry about. But I would regularly monitor that, just as you would your credit report, your financial reports. For credit reporting, look for new mortgages that might be listed on your credit report that you didn't take out. It's also another way to identify. It's rivcoacr.org. It's rivcoacr.org. Absolutely. Contact the district attorney's office fraud unit if you suspect fraud. And then you can always, like I said, you can come into our office, contact us. We're more than happy to walk you through searching your records online, giving you copies of the documents that we have on file in our office, or even helping you navigate through the district attorney's office should you find that something is there that you're unaware of. So we will be here after if you have any questions regarding assessments to your property, regarding real estate fraud, recording. But I appreciate the time, and we really thank you for allowing us to join this event.
Thank you so much to Ms. Garcia, and then also thank you to the Assessor County Clerk Recorder's Office for being here today and handling questions and doing a wonderful job with that presentation. So thank you. And now I'd like to welcome up our final speaker, Special Investigator, Lead Investigator, Crystalline Horkel. Investigator Horkel has served with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department for 21 years. For the past 3 years, she has specialized in elder abuse, working closely with vulnerable seniors and their families. She serves as the Sheriff's Department's representative on Elder Abuse Forensic Center, a multidisciplinary team that collaborates on complex cases involving elderly and dependent adults. She is also a member of the Financial Abuse Specialized Team, which focuses on investigating financial crimes targeting seniors across Riverside County. Please join me in welcoming Lead Investigator Crystalline Horkel.
So good morning, everyone. Like he says, my name is Crystalline Horkel. I work for the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. I specifically work out of the Southwest Station, so your local station here. We serve the city of Temecula as well as the unincorporated areas surrounding Temecula. So, like you said, I was part of the Elder Abuse Forensic Center, and I'm also part of FAST. Now, FAST is the Sheriff's Department team. We have a representative from each of the stations, and we specialize in financial abuse of elderly victims. Now, it's a team we've been working on for the last couple of years, and we regularly meet so that we can kind of collaborate and figure out what trends are occurring around the county. So when I'm here today to talk to you about something that affects millions of people across the country, scams that target older adults. This isn't about blaming anyone or making anyone feel bad. It's about giving you the tools and knowledge to protect yourself and your loved ones. Scammers are clever, but we can be smarter. So a lot of my presentation has already been covered by all of our previous speakers, so I'm going to kind of go through it probably quickly, and maybe we can take some questions at the end. So my stats are probably a little older than what were earlier presented, but in 2022, over 88,000 people aged 60 and older reported scams to the FBI. The average loss was over $35,000, and for those over 70, it was often more than $60,000. Now that added up to over $3 billion in losses every year. So these numbers are staggering, but they also show how important it is to talk about this openly. So who's most at risk? Scammers don't just go after people who are vulnerable. They go after people who are kind, they're helpful and trusting. They often target those who are at home more often or who enjoy talking to others. And sometimes people don't report scams because they are unsure of what happened and they don't want to cause a fuss. But remember, if something feels off, it's okay to ask questions or talk to somebody about it who you trust. Now, why are seniors targeted? You know, older adults, they're often targeted because they have worked hard. Like they said, you guys have saved money. You've built good credit. Scammers see that as an opportunity. They also know that many people in this age group are polite and they're willing to listen. I think you talked about that as well. These are wonderful qualities, but unfortunately, scammers take advantage of them. That's why awareness and these events like this are so important. So according to the FBI, and like I said, we probably got better stats earlier, the most common scams reported to seniors include tech support scams, investment scams, romance scams, government impersonation, and lottery scams. Tech support scams alone make up at least 32% of the reports. And investment scams can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Now, these aren't just minor annoyances. They have serious impacts. One of the biggest challenges is that many of these scams go unreported. People may feel embarrassed or unsure that they were really scammed. But here's the truth, scammers are professionals. They are good at what they do, and if something doesn't feel right, it's okay to speak up. Reporting a scam can also help protect others as well. Now, there are several different common types of scams. So taking a closer look at some of them, which honestly I think all of these have already been talked about today. But they include the imposter scams, the tech support scams, romance scams, the lottery and sweepstakes scams, investment scams, and charity scams. And we'll go through a little bit of each of these, but like I said, most of them have already been covered today. So for imposter scams are when somebody pretends to be like a government official, a police officer. There's a scam going that apparently the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, we are asking for your money, we are not asking for your money. Or even family members that are in trouble. They might say your social security number is compromised or that your grandchild is in jail, like they talked about earlier. And they create a sense of urgency and ask for money. And often through gift cards or wire transfers. Now, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the cases that I do investigate, they do involve the gift cards and wire transfers, and I am almost never able to get that money back for you guys. One thing you can do is report it to me as quickly as you can, and that's like your best effort, but honestly, most of the wire transfers go overseas to different countries, and once it is gone, I cannot get your money back. So if somebody calls you out of the blue and demands money, you need to hang up and verify that story with somebody you do trust, or the person they're trying to, like your grandchild or somebody individually. So for tech support scams, you might see a pop-up on your computer saying that you have a virus, or get a call from somebody claiming to be Microsoft or Apple. They'll say they need remote access to fix the problem, but once they are in, they can steal your information or ask for payments or fake services. If you didn't ask for help, don't trust the call. One of the most recent cases that I had, it was Apple. So this elderly gentleman, he had lots of money from his bank account being stolen. And he couldn't figure out who was doing it, so he goes to the bank, he changed all of his accounts, he changed all of his passwords and everything. And almost immediately, they were back into his accounts again. We couldn't figure out how they were doing it, but we went in, actually his grandson was pretty tech savvy. He goes into his phone and found that they actually accessed his Apple ID. So even though he had changed all his passwords on all of his accounts, they had access to all the information on his phone, and he had all that banking information on his phone. So even though after he changed it, the scammers got into his phone directly, they got all of his current banking information, and they continued stealing the money. And those scammers were out of Jamaica, so I had no jurisdiction or authority to do anything to get any of that money back. So romance scams, they often start like on dating sites or social media apps. The scammers build a relationship, they gain your trust, and then they ask for money. It may be for like a medical emergency or some type of business opportunity or travel expenses. Now these scams can be especially painful because they involve an emotional betrayal. If you have never met somebody in person and they ask for money, it's a red flag. And like one of the bigger cases that I've recently had was just this older lady, her husband, he's probably going to pass away soon. She's looking for some companionship. So she found this gentleman on, I think it was like some sort of social media app. They become friends. They've exchanged text messages and phone calls nearly daily. They build this trust up. They've been talking for a while, and then he asks for money for some business opportunity. She gives him the money. Then it's some more. Hey, I need I need a little bit more. So she sends him a little bit more. And all of the money that she was sending was in gift cards. So she was going down to the CVS, and she's taking out, ended up being thousands and thousands of dollars. And ultimately, at the end of this, it was her and her husband's entire life savings she had cashed out. All of their banking accounts, all of their CD accounts, everything between both of them, their entire retirement life savings was cashed out and sent in. Wire transfers was a handful, but most of it through gift cards. And ultimately, I couldn't get her money back. And it was really sad when I'm actually standing in a parking lot because she didn't want to talk in front of her husband. So she met me at a local parking lot grocery store, and she was just devastated. She was just crying because there was no way I can get her money back. And now she had to go home and tell her husband that she had lost their entire life savings. So for lottery and sweepstakes scams, these scams tell you that you have won a prize. This is actually super common. But if you need, and they'll tell you you need to pay the taxes and fees first. Some of them will say, hey, you won the lottery in Canada. If you've never played the lottery in Canada, you probably did not win the lottery in Canada. They might send a fake check or some sort of official looking letter. But remember, no real lottery is going to ask you to pay a claim for your winnings, okay? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So for investment in financial scams, these scams promise big return on investments, like real estate, stocks, or new business deals. So like that romance scam I was talking about, it kind of was also like an investment scam as well, because she thought she was investing in this man's company. They may involve unlicensed advisors or pressure you to act fast, but always take your time, ask questions, and talk to trusted financial advisors before making any decisions. So scammers often pretend, for charity scams, scammers often pretend to be from charities, especially like after natural disasters or during the holidays. So like they had said, the fires that were in the Palisades and stuff. There'll be charity scams. They may use names that sound like real organizations, but always check the charity's name and website before donating, and never feel pressured to give on the spot. For healthcare and Medicare fraud, some scammers often fake medical equipment or services and ask you for your Medicare number. They may bill Medicare for things you've never received, so be cautious about giving out your Medicare information and only share it with trusted providers. And so some red flags. Here, unsolicited calls or emails. So like they said, if you're getting the call, hang up and call back the people like you know directly. It is not uncommon for, like, say you have an iPhone and you have like your son or daughter's information in it. Some people can call, I don't know how they do, they'll spoof the number and they'll call in, and it won't show as like an iPhone number. They'll just come in as a regular number, but it will have your loved one's name, information, and phone number on it, and they may ask you for money, and you send it to them thinking that it is your daughter, your son, or whoever, not realizing that they have spoofed their number and you're sending it to a scammer. A scammer is going to ask you to keep secrets. Hey, don't tell the bank why I'm asking you to withdraw this $10,000. Tell them it's for something else, not that you're going to be sending it to another country or another state. If they create a sense of urgency, there's probably something wrong with that. If they have you make payments through gift cards or cryptocurrency, again, it's probably a scam. So if something feels off, it probably is. So just take a step back and talk to somebody you trust, and don't rush into anything. So the best thing that you can do is awareness, like seminars like today. Talk with your friends and family about the scams, use call blockers, monitor your financial accounts, and don't be afraid to ask for second opinions. If something seems suspicious, you should report it to your local authorities. And scams are always changing, so the more that we know, the better we can help protect ourselves. You are not alone, and there are people and resources to help. By staying informed and looking out for one another, we can stop some of the scammers in their tracks. One thing I'll say is, I think I may have mentioned it earlier, but the best thing you can do is as soon as you realize that you are a victim of a scam, contact your local law enforcement agency. Now, if you happen to be in the Temecula area, your report will likely get referred to me at some point if it ends up investigations. And the quicker you can get me information, the better the chances that we have to recover some of your finances. Now, I will say, piggyback on I think what you mentioned, many of the people who are taking advantage of you are your loved ones. I will say probably on my desk, half of my cases are going to be from scammers who are outside of the country and I can't do anything with. The other half, unfortunately, are your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren. They are the ones that take your money. You really need to make sure that you have other people monitoring your financial accounts, not just one individual. Because unfortunately, they do get greedy. Or they say, hey, mom's going to be okay if I spend, X, Y, and Z at Target. But that, $20 here will end up being tens of thousands of dollars over time. So if you have any questions, you can, reach out to your local police authority or station and we can help you through it. But just to kind of recap, that some of the most common scams that are going to be from your strangers are going to be your imposter scams, your tech support scams, the romance scams, lottery scams, investment scams, charity scams. So just knowing what to look for is the best way you guys can keep safe. And I think we're at the end, so we have questions, so if there's questions.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Horkel. And we now have about 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes for a couple questions for the speakers today. Yes, sir, in the back. Oh, sorry. They're walking around with the microphone.
To the last speaker, I was scammed at my bank account in Temecula, Cal Coast. And so I wanted to report it, so I came here to the police station, and they said they won't take the report, it has to be online. And then they said a detective will contact you. That was 2 months ago. So my request is to make that form available to fill it out in the stations, the remote stations.
Okay.
And I realize that you're probably overwhelmed. The week I was there, my credit union had 10 cases.
Yes.
And so that was my problem. I even had the email of the person who got into my account, and my wife looked it up and we saw pictures of them. So I have some evidence, but I haven't been able to report it.
So hold on to all of that information because I will likely need it from you at some point. I'm not sure about the specific stations because generally if you come to one of our local stations, like here at Old Town or our station itself, they may refer you online, but you should be able to report it to one of the offices there, or you can contact our dispatch. I can give you guys the number if you want to contact dispatch.
I'd like to confirm that that's not the procedure that's available to us. They emphatically said they do not take it in that office, nor the other ones around. So to me, it was a dead end.
I'm sorry about that. Yes, they may not have had a deputy there. So, but yeah, if you want to get me your information today, I should make sure, we get you. Sir. Yes.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am, in the back.
I had a question about the housing situation. If someone, puts their name on your house or, takes over your deed or whatever, what can you get your house back?
So I would be remiss to say yes, in every case, individuals can get their house back. There are legal processes that individuals can go through the courts to state the case and make the court understand what transpired. But not in all cases does that result in the individual getting their title back. But there is a recourse to follow so that in the event that you feel like someone defrauded you of your property in one form or fashion or another, that's where we encourage you to contact our office, contact the Real Estate Fraud Division at the District Attorney's Office, because we can help guide you to whom you might need to contact in the court or what other actions you might be able to take.
Any other remaining questions?
I have one question. You know, I had a living trust, and what I'm trying to do is that when I redid my home, they took it out of the trust. Is there anybody that can help me with that?
In terms of,
With the assessor's office to correct it, to put me back on the living trust?
so typically, when your property is held in trust and you need to refinance, the financial institution is going to tell you that you need to take it out of the trust, hold it again as an individual or joint owners, complete the refinance, and then you would need to execute a new deed transferring it back into your trust. So it sounds like that might be where you're at in that stage, and we can talk about that a little bit after if you want a
I think
sidebar.
that'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I saw a question at the table right in front of him.
I have some samples of mail. I would like to know which of these letters are scam. So I don't know who can. Because I don't know. So who can help me? Can I bring it to you?
Are there any last questions?
So what I will say, because that is a huge pile of mail, right? When we talk about scams, I want to make sure that there is not a misunderstanding between someone who is truly trying to scam or steal from you versus companies, corporations who truly have services that they offer and they'll charge you a fee for. They're not illegal, but they're just not very forthcoming in saying that those services are probably offered either at no cost or a reduced cost if you go directly to an agency. So I don't want anyone to misunderstand that every solicitation that you receive is a scam or illegal, but I would just say review them. Check into it. Do a little research. If they're saying they can get you a copy or some information from a particular agency for a fee, go on that agency's website and just see, do they charge a fee? Can you get it for free? Go into their office and ask them, hey, they're saying it's going to cost $100 to do this. Is there a cheaper way for me to do that? Because the likelihood that there is extremely high. So I just want to make sure that's clear. We are not saying that every solicitation is illegal or a scam, but we just ask you to just be a little cautious and maybe do some research before you decide to write somebody a check who says they're going to provide you a service, especially when it pertains to a government agency.
And if that's all the questions we have, oh, there's one more, it looks like.
That lovely lady that just talked. What was your name? Melissa. Thank you, Melissa.
And could we get a final round of applause for all the speakers who came out today? Give us our time. Oh, one more question.
Hi. I don't know if this is relevant or not, but lately I've been getting texts. I've been getting emails, and somehow they go on my phone calendar, and they say you bought this, you pay this, and all this stuff. I just delete. But the question is, how can I protect myself from whoever is sending me these? I mean, they have access to my email and my phone calendar. So I don't know who they are, what they're doing, but this has happened to me, and I don't know how to deal with this.
So the problem is that there's no real way to stop them from reaching out to you, because as fast as we can try to come up with ways to stop them, they come up with other ways to get in contact with you. And so that's why coming to these events, learning about what the types of scams are so that you know what's suspicious and what's not. Really just that information is the best way, so that, you know,
Yeah,
even when
justice.
I get those, when my wife gets those, when the investigators get them, all we all do is just be like, ignore, spam, the
Just
rest of
that.
it.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're like, the newer phones try to have, you know, like spam filters on them to prevent the calls and things like that. But at the end of the day, there's just so many ways to contact you. Even if you block that number, they can just get another number. So at the end of the day, you just kind of have to learn, like, okay, these are the ones that I just have to ignore. And, you know,
Just ignoring is enough. I can't do anything other than that, right?
I
It's
mean,
just ignore and delete.
typically, yeah,
all.
ignore, don't click on it, don't click on anything, don't respond to them.
Okay.
And if it's something that makes you concerned about a legitimate account that you have, go to that institution and talk to them directly.
Talk to them. Actually, this has happened to me at Chase. I'm their private client. And one time I wanted, I did something and then they had to verify me. Even though I called their actual number, that was a scam. That was a bad number. And when they called me back to verify, my phone said this is likely a spam. And it was the same number that Chase post. So when I called them, they said you have to call the number behind your car. Otherwise, it was very easy for me to just answer that phone and give the information. So this is what happened to me, and I was just this far from giving the information if it was not for my phone. If that happened to anyone, or if it happens, this was my experience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, on behalf of Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez and our city partners in Temecula, I want to thank you all for coming out, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.